I took this photo to show you. This is a baby goat who I found dead next to the road, and obviously this is from the livestock industry, so-called livestock industry. And if non-vegans are listening, I want you to realize something. Even vegans, I think they will be able to get some ideas from this video. So this is a product of humanity's addictions, and no one benefits from this. The god didn't benefit from this in terms of living a happy life. The so-called livestock animals are not benefiting from this in terms of having a fulfilled happy life. The nature is not benefiting from this, and the because of the pollution and the destruction caused by these unnatural activities. Um, Also, humans are not benefiting from this because of the health impacts, health effects of consuming animal products, and indirect consequences that when you harm nature, it comes back to you. And also, we create destructive cultures because we can murder animals. It is much easier to for us to hurt each other. So as you can see, there is no good in this, and you might wonder then why are we doing this? Is it the same reason um, why an addict does what he or she is doing? Cigarettes, alcohol, cocaine, heroin, consumption of mass media, chasing money, materials, you name it, all types of addictions. Why people are doing it? Because if they are so destructive, why the evolutionary process didn't get rid of such a thing? Well, um, so it must be driven by a more powerful process in a way. And you might guess that our addictions, all types of addictions, stem from one thing, that is the technological civilization, is the birth of technology. Um, and this process creates these harmonies and these, these harmonies cause disruptions uh, within the system, as I have mentioned, and make people consume more and more animal products, make people, make communities disintegrate, create fake people with masks, etc. And although I realize that distraction is necessary for um, birth, like that is necessary for birth, um, I think there is enough um, in the world. We don't need to contribute it to even more, and definitely not. We shouldn't be showing it as an excuse. So as I said, what is this? The other powerful new novel thing that is this force that is creating all these addictions as a consequence. Um, I said it is technological civilization, and at this point, some people might say, I mean, this is the only reasonable argument I have heard for keeping the technological civilization going. Reasonable if you don't think about it too much. If you examine it, as I will do right now, um, you will realize that probably it's not even worth it. And the argument is this: that eventually the Earth will die within a billion or so years. the sun will expand and the oceans will evaporate, etc. And we have limited time to escape from this planet to colonize other planets. And as biological life forms, we can't do it. So technology can do it, robots, etc. If you hear about this, it seems reasonable at first sight. But there are um, some things to be considered about this. So one thing is that although it is true that electronical means of processing rather than biological, such as neurological and computerized type of electrical circuits, um, you know, um, neural networks, etc. They can work much faster, hence adapt faster, which is an advantage. Um, the total amount of energy is the limiting factor in adaptations. Let me tell you an example to explain it better. Let's say you have cells dividing, biological cells dividing, let's say bacteria dividing, and its adaptation potential per energy it consumes might be even greater than a computer's um, adaptation potential adaptation rate per energy that it consumes. I haven't done um, research on this. Um, I haven't done, there are so many because there might be different technologies consuming different rates and different efficiencies of these, different systems. But I'm just pointing out to the fact that just because something can consume so much energy, especially right now, due to the fossil fuel extraction of fossil fuels, the technology can find so much energy to change quite rapidly, so it can fit these rapidly changing mechanisms of electronical means of evolution. But that doesn't mean that it is more efficient. Um, Especially we know that um, almost a quarter of the energy we consume is consumed by our brains, although our brain uh, occupies a very little um, um, portion of our body mass. Also, um, everyone everyone who's interested in these things knows how much uh, energy is being consumed by computers and how inefficient it is, even especially in the production phase, because basically um, biological means of production, when biological life extracts uh, minerals, etc., from nutrients from their surroundings, they don't make them heat up. They extract through chemical means, not through, let's say, um, heating up something to melt, and just like ore extraction, like glass, metals, all types of things that we produce that is necessary for the technological civilization. They go up very high temperatures, and then we cool it down. So we heat them up, separate in a way, process or distill, and then we let them cool again. So this is, as you can imagine, is very inefficient thing to do. So during the production phase also, the whole process of evolution must be considered. So from the production, during the life, and you know um, disposal, the death of beings, how much energy is required for the recycling of these things. So when everything is considered, I guess that biological life is more efficient in evolution, in evolving, finding new solutions and adapting than technological life. And when we consider these things, um, we come to the conclusion that on Earth, the energy is limited after fossil fuels are depleted. Basically, it comes from the energy. Basically, will come from the sun, uh, except some novel nuclear things might be discovered. Who knows? But right now, it seems quite desperate. So, is it worth the risk? Um, I would say, and Taoist people who say let's go along with the nature, with the greatest harmony. Uh, we will say it's not worth it. That's why um, I recommend people to be against technology because that is the only way of getting rid of addictions such as consuming animal products. This type of going away from the natural balance that is causing more suffering, much more suffering than uh, the pleasure and the happiness it creates, because it's eventually a destructive process with the hope that something good will come out eventually in the future. It's a huge risk taking, and a shift, huge shift, uh, paradigm shift. But as I said, um, it is not better than what we have right now. Some people will say, but you can imagine the robots can survive on Mars better, they might think. But if you consider it carefully, if technological advancement happen and robots can reproduce here on Earth by themselves, as I have mentioned in the documentary, that means the end of biological life, very likely. Um, then they will have their own um, patterns, um, and it wouldn't be any different, fundamentally any different than life that we have right now. And because they are not fundamentally more efficient, let's assume that right now, that more efficient, maybe they can change faster, but that's, as I mentioned, that's not the only thing that determines the adaptation, the overall adaptation of life on a given place, such as planet Earth or Mars, wherever. um, it wouldn't bring any more benefits in terms of adaptation rate. So when a robot goes to, let's say, Mars, it still needs to find um, the necessary elements for its reproduction. For us, it is water. For us, it is for life, it is water. Especially, there are beings, biological life forms that can survive with very little water, but still, um, uh, we need water. As far as I know, no life form can survive without water for even tardigrades need water for reproduction, probably, right? And um, it is the limiting factor for us in a way, which water is found in many planets, many regions. Um, Similarly, for these theoretical future technological robotic life forms, whatever they might be, if they come into existence, still there will be other requirements that will be difficult to substitute because they would evolve here on Earth, just like we have evolved here on Earth. So it doesn't mean that automatically, just because they're robots, it will be easy for them to go and live on Mars. You know what I mean? there are still complex life forms. Um, and for this, I think I heard some proposal for extracting more energy, covering the whole sun with like solar panels, whatever, to extract energy. That type of thing. Um, it just goes crazy because like you can just cover the whole, around the sun with life basically, like with forest, whatever, like you can just imagine anything at this point. And there is no, it doesn't mean that um, it is more preferable to biological life forms. um, so um, with this in mind, um, a Taoist or someone who values harmony wouldn't support technology, obviously, wouldn't would give up all addictions, um, as much as they're aware of, and would live um, here and now as much as possible, naturally, trying to heal themselves, go back to their true self, through nature as nature intended. And um, if someone was worried about spreading life in the future, let's say next billion years, to other planets, and if they still think this the technology is the best way of doing this, the best path, even so, the best path would be to keep the technology limited, um, in a place, um, without spreading it to the rest of the world, and just work there minimally, and then try to send these technological forms to be developed um, in other planets. Um, but this is not realistic because, as we know, everything is connected, and eventually this isolated technology will spread because not everyone is wise, not everyone is a Taoist, right? So eventually, some people will just um, decide to use it, and it will spread because it can be used in a destructive ways. And as I said, it's incompatible with biological life, and there is no way of preventing this destruction. And just because it was meant to be this way, that technology exists and is expanding, growing, destroying, causing more suffering than it brings happiness, with the hope that it will lead to something. Still, I wouldn't um, I wouldn't suggest um, following that path. I wouldn't take that path because of the many things I have just mentioned. Because what we have right now is already um, um, how to say, it is already good. We know that there will be always birth and death, some suffering. We can avoid that, but why create more suffering with the hope that in the future it will bring something that is not even guaranteed, that it will bring something bigger? I don't think that um, it will bring something. Um, it might or it might not be. I can't comment on this. Uh, but harmonious principles tell us that these um, abominations that humans are committing right now is a side effect of the technological development, and we should avoid it as much as possible. So I hope this made sense. This because I was like thinking out loud, uh, it took quite a long time. I think almost 20 minutes right now, but I hope you're not bored and got some ideas, got you thinking about these things, because that's the only way of convincing people in a way to live in harmony. If they don't see, they should know why they are doing what they are doing. When you go to work every day, you need to know what you are being a part of, what you are partaking uh, in what type of activity. um, and this distraction when you take part in technological civilization. Distraction with the hope that in the very far future it will bring something. Um, so watch my documentary The Connections 2021 short documentary. Watch Dominion 2018 and learn about this, environmental distraction, uh, all kinds of things that will hopefully uh, make you a more harmonious person overall. Thank you very much for listening and see you in another time.